Dot Solutions. Add-on desired.
Hello viewers, welcome to Dot Solution Daily Current Affairs. I'm Lokesh Penugonda. This session is designed for aspirants who are preparing for banking, groups and such other competitive examinations. We cover news articles from both the Hindu and the Indian Express. Make use of this session. Our first article will be about the Lighthouse Project. This is a project that is being launched by the Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University along with the Lighthouse Community Foundation. So you can understand that this is a joint collaborative project. So what is the objective of this project? This project will identify youth in the low income and slum communities living in various parts of the city, and it will help them to take an informed life decision, and it will also help them to improve their skills so that they can get better employment. So what you need to understand is that the Lighthouse project will be identifying the poor people, and they will help these poor people to get more skills so that they can get better jobs, and this will be only in the city of New Delhi. So this project will be restricted to the city of Delhi. Next, we have an article where the government has approved the restructuring of the OFBs into 7 new defense PSUs. So what is the OFBs that is mentioned in the article? The OFBs refer to the Ordnance Factory Board. The Ordnance Factory Board. So what is this Ordnance Factory Board? Ordnance Factory Board is the umbrella body. It is the umbrella body of all the ordnance factories that are coming under the Ministry of Defense. So we have 41 ordnance factories that are making various types of arms, ammunitions and other military equipment, and these 41 factories come under the Ministry of Defense, and these 41 factories combinedly have an umbrella body called as the Ordnance Factory Board. And now the Union government has approved a formula where the Ordnance Factory Board will be now onwards divided, and 7 new public sector undertakings will be created. So what are these 7 new industries that will be coming under the Ministry of Defense after restructuring the Ordnance Factory Board? These are the Ammunition and Explosives Group. Next is we'll have the Vehicles Group. Next will be the Weapons and Equipment Group. Next, the Troop Comfort Items Group. Next, the Ancillary Group. Later, we have the Optoelectronics Group and the Parachute Group. So we'll first see what does this ordnance factories does. Ordnance factories are arms and ammunition and related military equipment producing factories. So we have the Indian Army, we have the other armed forces, that is the Navy, that is the Air Force, and apart from these armed forces, we have the paramilitaries such as the CRPF, such as the BSF, and apart from having the armed forces, the paramilitary forces, we also have the state local police establishments. All these agencies and all these bodies will have to get weapons from somewhere, and this ordnance factories will provide the weapons these agencies and these armed forces will require. And apart from providing arms, ammunition, missile and other related technologies to the local needs, these industries and these ordnance bodies will also export various types of military equipment to other countries. And the ministry has approved, the cabinet has approved the restructuring of all these 41 factories and along with related offices into 7 new public sector undertakings. So we have already seen the names of these 7 new public sector undertakings that will be established. So this is with respect to the restructuring of Ordnance Factory Board. You should also know that the headquarters of this Ordnance Factory Board is in Kolkata. It is in Kolkata. Next, we have an article where the Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs has approved the proposal made by the Ministry of Earth Sciences. So what is the proposal made by the Ministry of Earth Sciences, which has been given approval by the Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs? The Ministry of Earth Sciences has proposed a mission called as the Deep Ocean Mission. The mission is called as Deep Ocean Mission. So what will the Deep Ocean Mission does? The Ministry of Earth Sciences has stated that through the Deep Ocean Mission, that is the DOM, we will explore various elements that are present in the territorial waters of India along with other areas, and after identifying any resource, will try to explore and will try to exploit these resources. In general, it is mainly talking about the exploration and exploitation of the polymetallic nodules. So what are the polymetallic nodules that the Ministry of Earth Sciences is planning to mine in the deep sea? We have something called as the polymetallic nodules. These are rock-like solid structures. So these are small rock-like structures that might look like a potato, but these nodules or these rocks are found deep inside the ocean. That is, we are talking about the depth. These polymetallic nodules are generally found 6,000 meters below the ocean surface, So we have important things called as the polymetallic nodules. So why is the Ministry of Earth Sciences through the DOM or the Deep Ocean Mission is planning to exploit and mine these polymetallic nodules? Polymetallic nodules have elements such as iron, manganese, nickel, cobalt and copper. So if you mine the polymetallic nodules, you will be able to separate and get all these metals which I have just explained, so that these metals can be used for local purposes and these can be used for exporting to other countries. That is a major objective of the deep sea mining. So first we'll see how you can mine some metals and in general the polymetallic nodules from deep ocean surfaces. First, a survey have to be conducted, and if this survey identify where polymetallic nodules are available in the ocean, then a crawler will be sent to the seabed, and this crawler will look into the sea surface and it will try to exploit and it will try to take whatever polymetallic nodules that are available nearby. So it will suck whatever polymetallic nodules that are available in this area, and once these metallic nodules or metals are found out and sucked, these will be sent to the ship that is just above the surface. So a crawler will be sent down and this crawler will suck all the important metals that are available here, and these metals will be sent to the ship that is just above the surface, and the ship will segregate the metals. And after segregation of these metals will be transported to the land so that can be used. So this is how the deep ocean exploration is being planned by the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Next we have an article where the IIT Delhi has stated that it is upgrading a transport related program into a full-fledged research center. We have someone called as Mr. Dinesh Mohan. Dinesh Mohan is an expert in research relating to the transportation, and he has started a program nearly 2 decades ago in the IIT Delhi where he was serving as a professor, and now the IIT Delhi has come out with a statement which stated that the research program which was started by Mr. Dinesh Mohan will be upgraded into a full-fledged research center. So a research program will be upgraded into a research center, and this will be called as the Transportation Research and Injury Protection Center. Shortcut TRICC. IPC. You should note that it is the IIT Delhi which has upgraded a program into the TRIPC. Next we have an article where PM Modi has taken part in a summit called as the Viva Tech Summit. So what is this Viva Tech Summit? Viva Tech Summit is one of the largest summit relating to digital technologies and startup ecosystem. So it is a digital and startup ecosystem related summit, and this summit is held every year in the city of Paris. So it is one of the largest summit in the Europe which is being held in Paris, and yesterday the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has taken part in the summit through virtual mode. Next we have an article where the National Highways Authority of India has made the usage of drones mandatory so as to record the development and construction, operation and maintenance of various highways project. First we'll see about the National Highway Authorities of India. National Highways Authorities of India is a statutory body set up by the Parliament in the year 1988, and this authority comes under the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. So we have the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, which is the ministry responsible for the National Highway Authorities of India. And the major function of this National Highway Authority of India is to construct and maintain highway projects in the country. And now it has made mandatory so as to record the phases of highway construction in the country, and it has stated that whatever videos you have recorded relating to this will be uploaded and will be saved in a portal of the National Highway Authority of India called as the Data Lake. So you should note that Data Lake is a portal of the National Highways Authority of India. This is something important. Next we have an article where a British lawmaker has been made the ICC's chief prosecutor. So we have the International Criminal Court, which is being titled as the ICC. So what is the significance of the International Criminal Court? International Criminal Court is a first ever permanent international criminal court, and it will look into and it will investigate cases where individuals are charged with crimes of grave concern. So we have crimes of grave concern including war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity. So these are numerous and deep human rights violations. So if a person is charged with any of this International Criminal Court can investigate and can pronounce a verdict. So we'll see where this International Criminal Court is. This criminal court is headquartered in The Hague, which is in the Netherlands. So The Hague is the capital of Netherlands, and it is the capital or the headquarters of this International Criminal Court. And now a British lawmaker named Mr. Karim Khan, whom you can see in this image, has been made as a chief prosecutor. You should note the tenure of the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court is 9 years. Next we have an article where the Minister of Defense of India, Mr. Rajnath Singh, has participated in the ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus, and in this meeting he has supported the freedom of navigation and the open Indo-Pacific. So we'll see about the ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus. This is also called as ADMM Plus. This is a platform where the ASEAN ministers along with its dialogue partners will meet together and will try to improve their cooperation in the defense related areas. First we'll see about the ASEAN member states. ASEAN is a group of Southeast Asians. So ASEAN means Association for Southeast Asians, and there are 10 member countries in this grouping. They are Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Brunei, Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore. And this group has 8 dialogue partners which are Australia, United States, India, South Korea, Japan, China, New Zealand and Russia. So all these 18 members come together to improve their cooperation in defense and security through a platform called as the ASEAN Defense Minister Meeting Plus. And as India is a dialogue partner of this Asian grouping, the Minister of Defense for India has taken part in this summit through virtual mode this year. Next, we have an article where the Union Cabinet has given its approval for Inland Vessels Bill 2021. So, we'll see about the Inland Vessels Bill of 2021. This bill aims to replace the existing Inland Vessels Act of 1917. So this is a new bill that is planning to replace the old bill. First we'll see about the inland vessels. Inland vessels are those ships that uses the inland waterways. So what do you mean by inland waters? India has long rivers, India has canals, India has backwaters which can be used for transportation of men and material using ships. These ships or vessels which will use the inland waterways will be called as the inland vessels. For suppose you want to transport some goods from Uttar Pradesh to Kolkata. Instead of using the rail route, the road and the airways, you can utilize the waterways. We have the river Ganga which flows from Uttar Pradesh and later it will meet the Bay of Bengal at Kolkata. So you can use the waterways of river Ganga. Why are you promoting the waterways in India in a big way? Because waterways provide you a cheaper mode of transportation, and this transportation is very less polluting compared to other modes of transportation. So on one hand you can transport men and material at lower prices, and on other hand you can do this with less pollution. So you will get many benefits using the inland waterways. That's why the Union Cabinet and the Union Government has been promoting the usage of inland waterways. And now to regulate and to safeguard the inland waterways, the Union Cabinet has stated to give its approval to the Inland Waterways Bill of 2021. And we'll see about few important provisions that this bill is bringing in. First is common registration for the entire country. Common registration. Let's say there is a ship and this ship might be traveling from Uttar Pradesh to Kolkata to transport some goods. So if it is traveling from UP to the West Bengal, then as of now you would have to take a certificate from Uttar Pradesh government, the Bihar government, the Jharkhand government and the West Bengal government. So whichever states and union territories that are being covered through this waterway, in all these states and union territories you would require a separate certificate. And now the government is planning to bring this bill of 2021, and this bill states that from now onwards, that is when the bill becomes an act, it will bring you one type of certification where this one certificate is enough to travel throughout the country. So you don't have to take certificate from various states and union territories. So this is one important provision that this bill is planning to bring. Next, nearly 1500 certificates have been issued through the Trans ID portal. So we'll see about this Trans ID portal. 6 months ago, the Union Government has launched a national portal for issuing the certificates of identity to the transgender persons. So we have the transgender persons, and the Union Government has started a portal called as the transgender.dos, the transgender.dosje.gov.in. This was a portal launched by the Union Government 6 months ago, so that it can help in providing certifications regarding the identification of transgenders. So a transgender can go to this website and can register himself and get the transgender certificate. But various transgender activists have stated that this portal is only now available in English and Hindi, and they are stating that if you don't have regional languages, people cannot utilize this app. And now the officials have stated that 5 more regional languages would be available soon to utilize this portal by the transgenders. Next, we have an article relating to the IBC. IBC stands for Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code and Bankruptcy Code. In the year 2016, the Union government has brought out the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So, what is the objective of bringing in this code? This is to forward and this is to fasten up the resolution process. The resolution process. What do you mean by resolution process? For that, we need to take an example. Let's say there is a company C. Company C might have taken a loan from person 1. It might have taken a loan from various banks. It might have taken loans from financial institutions as well. And after taking a loan, it might be providing interest within the specified time. But later, due to some reasons, this company C might have delayed the payment and might have even stopped giving the interest and stopped giving the principal back to these persons or banks or the financial institutions which has provided the company C with some credit. And now if these persons or the banks wants to get back the money, they have to go to the court, because this is a civil case. And when they go to the civil courts, it will take so much time, because Indian judiciary has already been facing numerous amount of backlogs. So if person 1, banks A, B, C and financial institutions 1, 2, 3, they go to different courts and they are asking about the money return from company C, then this process of getting the money back from company C might take a long time. So to fasten up the resolution process of getting back their money, the Union government has brought this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. And according to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, the resolution, that is the money that this company will have to be returned back to all these creditors within 270 days. And let's assume that this company C has taken 100 rupees loan from all these companies, all these persons combinedly, and later after losing so much of its money, it has only 50 rupees. Even in that case, the NCLT, which stands for National Company Law Tribunal, which is a body that is responsible for this resolution process, will provide this 50 rupees back to all these persons in their proportion. So you will get at least some amount of money back after selling the company C to someone else, and the sale of this company to C to someone else will be looked by the NCLT, that is the National Company Law Tribunal. And the IBC code states that within 270 days, the creditors should get their money back after the completion of this resolution process. So when you hear the word Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, you should know that this is a code which is being used by the creditors to get the money back which they have loaned to some company or to some partnership firm. So with this, we have come to the end of the session. Inform about ADOTS initiative to your other aspirant friends, and you can visit our website to attempt mock tests based on our daily current affairs videos. Thank you.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desires.